everyone. No one's here yet, but as usual, you all can who's coming here in the future. Probably go about 5 minutes in. That's where these talks tend to start. So I'll just hold down the fort until some people show up, and we'll go from there. Sound good? Cool. Great. Very wonderful. What up, Daniel Drury? So I lost the edge and the motivation of what I was going to talk about earlier because I couldn't catch a signal. So I'll just save that talk, whatever it was going to be about, for whenever it hits me again. But I figured I wanted to get a little bit more online again, so the newer followers of my work can jump on here and see if we can't find some new people that have questions and ideas and want a little inlet into the mind of the czar. What up, Kia? What up, Super Champion Rocker and Illumis? So I figured what I would do is just jump on here, and if something tickles my anus and I feel like saying something funny, I'll say it. And if you all got something you want to know, let me know. What do you want to talk about? Where you want to go with this? I mean, I was gonna do something on Valentine's Day and Ash Wednesday and this other Indian holiday, but nah. What up, Joseph Lapiana? What up, Ernstins? Kind of shiny out here. It hasn't been very sunny lately, so I haven't been doing much sun gazing at all. And this, basically the whole winter, I've been kind of just up in the house. I haven't really been out doing things, so the shiny sun is kind of glary on my eyes. So I kind of got to get in the cut over here for springtime, staring into the abyss of the sun. Brad Milligan, how do you choose a path? Close your eyes, flip a quarter, throw some stones. Usually they say if you flip a quarter and you have two choices, you'll know what you want to do before the thing hits your hand. If you say, "Oh, I hope it's not heads, I hope it's tails," well, you know what you want to do. I think that I've done this talk a few times before, and I think specifically what you're looking at is there's nothing to choose. Like, you can always choose something else. You must maintain that thing. Like, I can make one choice for today, or I can make 150 choices today. I can make 150 choices today. I probably already made 25 to 30 different choices than what I had planned out in my head, because I wanted to go have breakfast or lunch at this place that I've never been before. And so in my head, I had mapped out, okay, I'm going to go here, then I'm going to go here, and then here. Well, took my bike ride, and I get to this place, and it's not open. So my choice didn't hold up. The what I required, because I didn't plan ahead, or because I didn't, as I usually do, I don't make too many little notations. I didn't make the phone call and do all the things to make sure the place was open, and so I made a new choice. You're always granted in every moment an opportunity to make another choice, always. So I don't think it's too much to be. Don't be too caught up in making a right or wrong choice about anything. Because if it doesn't seem to be serving you, you'll know it quickly, and you'll go do something else. Loomis, do we come out of the dark ages? I think the dark ages just have to do with more or less the ability to create, the theory of darkness is you have no, there's no say in the matter. You don't know what's going on. So you're created. This is the thing that happens where people like to believe in a creator, so therefore they're created, but they don't think they're a creator. So they're underneath, they're in a dark age. You're in a dark age if you think you're created and you have no capacity to create. Once you come to the point of believing you're the creator, that changes everything. So you are creating. So you are as God, or as whatever you want to call it, that is part of the creation as well as pushing into the creation. What sign is more powerful, Kia, to stare at? Probably one that you've made yourself. Although I do think that the Ankh is probably, I would say, the least powerful to stare at. I would say the spiral or the flower of life would be the more correct. The flower of life is this way. It's an expansive thing that you see the creation happening expansive, and a spiral usually takes you into a focal point. So I think they give you two opposite ideas, both in a creative vessel. Like you're focusing in on a spiral, hypnosis right there in the middle, versus the flower of life. It's showing you the creation aspect. So I think those two have the most power, or your own symbol, because you're more interested in your own symbol that you've created. And interestingly enough, I've just created a really awesome tattoo that I want to do very, very soon. Electric Towel, How to Dream and Dream. Yeah, that is it. I'm in your dream, you're in my dream, and we fold them into each other. And some people are the I would say some people are the characters in your story, and some people are just the background noise, and some people are part of the larger dream that you're dreaming, the story you're telling, the story you're creating. Kia, you dreamt about two suns. That's fun. I've had many dreams of multiple suns and multiple moons. Yeah, the sun one is a lot of fun. And I was like pointing it out to someone, and they just wouldn't look. I was like, "Do you see? There's two suns right there," and they wouldn't look. Oh, Brad Milligan, someone needs you to pick, or you lose one of the opportunities. Whoa. Well, you can always just go like this and go pick neither. Or have somebody else choose for you and just say that's what it will be. The thing about using a coin, you kind of just like, leave it up to chance. And if you let somebody else do it, then you can kind of hold them responsible. And that's maybe not that good if you're kind of the person like, I shouldn't have let that person choose. What's up, my man? How you doing? Okay is better than no good.
Yeah.
We're getting better and better.
Getting better and better.
Beautiful.
Tell that the blessing is coming and the devils are out.
Good.
So big money coming and the broke people are getting mad.
Good. Somebody's gonna be mad, somebody's gonna be happy. That's what I've learned.
Yeah.
Just stay the happy one.
I love to be the happy one. That's why I learned how to walk away from stuff.
Good, man.
And how to put stuff on videotape instead of me just counting it myself and don't have no evidence.
Mm-hmm.
So
Cheers.
For the punch and a lot of them don't like it.
Cheers, man.
Good.
That's what, Kia. That's so funny you just said that. The person I was just talking to was talking about that. Well, interesting number. So that would come out to six would be that number. 6 is the number. 3 6s and 9s. Huh? I wonder if you went through all the lottery numbers and seen what they boiled down to. How often there were 3, 6, or 9. Joseph Lampiano. I don't give that any credibility whatsoever. It's not. It's not my reality. I don't invest energy into such low level ridiculousness. If it was on the TV, it's 100% a lie, anyways. They, there's what have you ever heard on the TV that is even an inkling of the truth in it? So no, I don't. I can't. I could barely even read that. It's not even. It's not even in my projection. Mhm.
Yeah, I do love walking more. I have to walk down. So I can get all of my physical.
Ha 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 ha.
Okay.
Soren's garden.
Oh, okay, because I'm actually right around the corner. Okay.
Yeah, magic is magic, man. See, the thing is, the precipice of going over to the side of creation, of creating magic. Before you were underneath the guise or the guide of. Cheers, man. Take care, buddy.
Thank you, brother.
Good to see you.
What's your name?
Zen.
Zen. I'm Knowledge.
Knowledge. Good to meet you.
Oh, yeah. Good to meet you. We're going to see each other again.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. Have a blessed day.
You too, man. So the bit about magic here. So when you're on one side of magic, you just accept things as, oh, it's God did it. You know, that whole, well, that's just the plan of the universe. That's God. That's even people into things that don't have to do with religion. Even spiritual people will always say, oh, the universe will take care of it. Well, then no matter what happens, good, bad, or indifferent, you don't feel any accountability for it. There's no like, well, that's just what happened. But then on the other side of the magic, that means you need to be in control of all the dips and thongs and switches and all the things in the how you're steering the ship, how you're playing with the controls. And so and the thing is, when you first start doing it, you don't know all the controls. You don't know all of the dots and the lines and the here can I adjust this. You don't know that. So things that crop up, you take more responsibility for. You go, oh damn, did I create that? And so that it's just the beginning of magic. There's always those little humps in the road, and it has nothing to do with those things would have happened anyways in your life in the past, but you wouldn't have said, oh, did I do that? You would just go, oh, that's just what happened. Now you go, oh shit, am I doing all of this? Did my man Knowledge just walk up to me because I created him to walk over into my, did he sit there because of me? Did I sit here because of him? A dude that I was talking to? Never met him. So is that magic on my part and his part? Is that a simultaneous magical thing? So that's the as I started this earlier when I was saying that the path of the created or the creator, like you're both, and getting into the ship, getting into your body, getting into your knowledge, getting into your magical birthrights of creating out of your consciousness. It's just little bumps along the way of, okay, the devil's in the details. You need to make a little more, this is why you use sigils. This is why you do things that are a little more, maybe create a grimoire, make it a little more intense, maybe have more intense. Your intentions are your intents. So the more intense and focused you are that you put into one sigil, the more exacting the results will be. I mean, you don't need to use a sigil, as I always say. It's always up here. But if you put it into a sigil, then it'll be a lot closer to what you want. You won't have to worry about the little, oh shit, I didn't think about that part. I want a new Ferrari. Okay, cool. Somebody gives me a Ferrari now. I'm gonna have a lot of problems because I can I afford the gasoline? Can I afford the oil changes? The insurance on that mother? Oh my goodness. Can I afford the insurance on a Ferrari? A brand new one? No way. $150,000 car, the insurance on that a month, probably in the $1,200 to $1,500 range. I ain't got that cash. So all of a sudden I want a Ferrari. Okay, deal with it, right? It ain't gonna work out too well. Soren, what do I think you feel guilty about? Well, I would say at the beginning that you said you've created who I am today. I am not your creator. I just gave you I gave you the capacity to create yourself. What do you feel guilty about? I don't know. Probably what I just said about like not being able to have control over all of the diphthongs. But in time it comes. It's it's kind of like riding a bike or riding a horse. You don't hold on too tight. You kind of loosen up on the strings. Like in the beginning, you want to hold on and steer the thing, and you'll end up hurting yourself. You end up oversteering a horse or oversteering your bike. But if you loosen up even like driving a car, loosen up the handle on the steering wheel, loosen up the reins, and things flow a little more. You don't have to cross every T and dot every I, and over control is just as much as no control. What's up, Sean, man? Yeah, and since the thoughts manifesting more quickly, that always happens when you're cleaner. It happens in certain cycles based on the sun and the moon. It happens intention, focus. It happens because of, we could get into the 100th monkey kind of thing. More people are aware, more people being aware, just that alone, of anything. More people are aware that the earth is flat and these institutions are just false, right? So that alone, people start to build up energy and power of their own, realizing these institutions aren't going to be around that much longer because they serve no purpose. There is no purpose for NASA. There is no purpose other than to create conflict, and nobody wants conflict. So if everybody knew, like people out here always like, oh, like, do you think NASA's going to come on and be like, oh yeah, I'm sorry, you know what, we didn't go to the moon. There's no shit out there. They're not going to do that. They're going to fade away somehow, some way, but like they have no purpose. So now people, they don't have the stars to look at anymore. They don't have Hollywood to look at anymore. They meads go away, and all of a sudden they become the mead. They become their own media, as was said in the Stanley Kubrick's work and the work that was done by the Sync book. These guys that created the Sync book, and they made a video about Back to the Future, 9/11, and Stanley Kubrick, and they used a lot of ideas about touching the screen, touching this right here, that the method of the media is inside of the, like, we have the same capacity as all other media sources now. So we're holding the same staff of energy that any other person that has power or providence over any media device, any other institution. Yeah, they can control it in a certain way, but now you have it too. Your voice, your entity, your being, whatever you are, you have as much power as anyone else. It's a tiny little phone. Tiny little phone, doing the same thing as they do with tens of millions of dollars of studio budget in Hollywood. The difference is some people out here are absolutely 100% authentic and honest and truthful. And what you get from the media is a story. No, stories are great and wonderful, and they serve a purpose, and there's a place for them. But the relinquishing of all of that, like, think of all of the people that go into making things for NASA or that go into Hollywood. If they had to individually do it, could they do it? Could they put themselves on camera? Could they be authentic, or are they just a tiny little piece to somebody else's larger conglomerate of misinformation at times? Sometimes quality information, but again, it's always been kind of disguised through archetypes and disguised through lenses and mirrors. But getting back to the Sync guys, I can't think of the exact quote that I want to give you right now, but it's on the tip of my brain, and hopefully I'll find it for the end of this video. And it was Marshall McLuhan. It's a Marshall McLuhan quote, It's just basically about what the media is, and how the connection between Kubrick and Marshall McLuhan, and um, what the real magicians in the media are doing, and now that what 2012 was and what 2020 is, and what these cycles are, and what we all are as magicians, and who the Mayans were. And the Mayan is the word mind, the mind, because the Maya means illusion. They were the illusion makers. Your mind is the illusion maker, and so you become creating the illusion for yourself and for other people too. And it just so happens that people are more interested now in a union of illusion, of something better, that they're not just, okay, well, they got all the power and control because they got these strong giant media conglomerate devices, and they're telling us a story, they're telling us the truth. And now as that starts to fall away, people are going, no, we want something better than this. We don't want the fucking crumbs from your table. We don't want the shit you're serving us. We don't want the vaccines that we know you're poisoning us with. We don't want the GMOs in the food. We don't want that. We want an environment that's healthy and sustainable. And remember when I was a kid? Remember when you were a kid and what we thought the world was? That's what we want now, what we thought it was. Now we all growing up, all the lies and confusion, and people who are trying to leverage assets for money and power and politics, and nobody wants that. And people are very much in droves, in union, in unison, speaking the same thing, because it's tiring to have these people that are powerless use and wield a language, a tongue, and a tone and a sound against you and against the whole human populace, because they're weak, because they're feeble, because they don't know what death is, because they don't know what true magic is. What up, John Scarborough? Torn Garden, that's a great question. Should I trust myself? How can I tell if it's intuition and projection from someone else, or if it's trick or it's paranoia? Yeah, that's a very, very good question, and that is the initial birthing sufferings of magic and of life in general. Really, it's I've been eating all of this food, and I know it's doing a number on my gut. This is what you say. And you're supposed to have gut intuition. You're supposed to have a feeling in your gut, but your gut is full of shit. So can you trust your gut? Once you've cleansed your gut out, and your bowels are in good order, and bowel is following your orders as the Most High, and Hanuman ain't running around, and you're sitting up here as Brahma, and you're telling bowel, I got you, what do you need? But I'm going to feed you well. Then things change. Then the gut speaks with strength, because bowel is not to be fucked with. But we keep loading shit into bowel, and he's like, I don't know what to do with all this shit. I got to put it over here. Now you're a fat slob, and your temple is destroyed. It's falling apart. It's in ruins. But what would you do? You would clean it up, and all of a sudden, when Baal says something, then you go, that's correct. Because Baal has just as much authority over this plane than the Most High does. It's equivalent, if not more, for Baal. But if you're giving Baal bad information, misinformation, meaning the food, meaning what we're listening to, if you're listening to the news media, if you're listening to people that are full of shit, you're feeding that all into that. You're feeding it into the complexities of, you're making everything more complex. But simplicity says, what am I made of? I'm made of water, oxygen, a little bit of earth. Now, if I stand there on my square, circle myself, my consciousness, and say, I am in agreement. I agree with these elements which are me, and I am them, and I have nothing in the way of being that. Then I can take something as simple as this in, and I can go, is this working with my system? How do you like that bowel? How do you like that mind? How do you like that system? And then all of a sudden you can have a better, because it is a minefield, because you've lived your life under tyranny of your mind. You lived your life under tyranny from the states, from all of the states, from the governmental institutions, from the media. You've lived under the fear, because they've been feeding you that to keep you docile and keep you humble and keep you within reason. So that's what you know. That's what your mind knows. So your mind reflects back upon that. And until you get all of that out of you, what can you know? That's all you could know. So now you get in this position where you go, man, I feel different because I've cleansed myself, and things feel different now. And all of a sudden, these things that used to look good to you don't look good no more. And these people that used to talk to you don't sound right no more because you're hearing authenticity, and some people don't have it. It's just a little bit of an adjustment, and it doesn't take too long. You could go one of the best ways if you're dealing with anxiety of that degree, when things are kind of like there's so many things, like now all of a sudden you're magical and all of these things are going on in your life. Go get some needles put in you. You know, go see yourself a chiropractor. Go get a spinal adjustment. Go get a massage. Take all the money that you'd have been spending on shitty ass food and dog shit, and go and spend it on healing your temple. Getting acupuncture is one of the greatest things you can do. If you find a very, very skilled acupuncturist, it will change the way you feel and think about everything. You like that, huh? He was very familiar to me, Brand Zen. I've seen him before. I'm pretty sure I've met him before and had a conversation with him somewhere in the various, not like in another lifetime like that, but like, you know, I've lived here long enough. Dips and dongs and diphthongs. What up, Dong Cheetle? I probably said dongs because of you. Joseph Lapiana. You did the age urine and had good. That's good, man. That's awesome. It does a number. It does for sure. Well, thank you, Sean, man. Cool. Yeah, I don't think you can, if you had written it down somewhere else and try to put it into the box here, I don't think it lets you. I think that's just something that, so people can't spam on YouTube. I think that's how that works. Yeah, Torrance Garden, you know, it's giving up control over your plans. You plan on an outcome. That's all. That's what you work with. You work with outcomes. You say, this is what I require. That's all. All of the other steps in between is not for you to decide. Here's how it works. What you'd call archons or archetypes, or the major, say the 12 around the one. Let's use this example as well. You can term these any way you want, and we're looking at bodies of energy or bodies of influence that are unseen to your eyes or your ears. They're larger conglomerate agencies of energy, which are, say, the 12 zodiac signs, or archetypes that you'd use, or archons. And they do your bidding for you. They'll always get you what you want, but for them to work for you and do the work for you, which they always will, to get you what you want is different depending on the state of your being, the state of your intention, the state of your literal physical body, because they'll work in your best interest. And you might think your best interest is something that it's not. There's been plenty of times, like I was just talking about getting a Ferrari. If I wanted a Ferrari, they'd be, all right, we'll get you a Ferrari, but it's probably not going to come for 6 months until we're going to have to make sure that you do these other things first to get you enough money to make sure that you can pay for the insurance on that thing, right? So if they're really working your best interest, you ain't going to get that for 6 months until you have the capacity to pay for the insurance. But if you're out of shape and you're just a fool and you're just like, I want that thing, they're, all right, fine, have it. And all of a sudden you can't pay for the insurance, and they're like, well, that's what you wanted, right? You're just rubbing the genie. You're rubbing the lamp every single time. And there are all sorts of forces in the world and in the universe and in you, inside of you, that are working for you. And you could, if you want to look at this a little deeper, what you would say is you have trumpets throughout your body. You have what you'd call your Let's do it. Like we could use the word liver. We could use gallbladder. We could use chakras. Same thing. We could use energy points. We could use different names for different things that are literally emitting sound frequencies and energy, and some of these are blocked up. So if you say I want this, and all of a sudden 3 or 4 of your signals in your body send out to the universe to these different energetic agencies that you want something, but one of them is real blocked up, they're going to have to make up for that. You see? But if everything in your body is firing exactly as it should be, if you're like Joseph and the Technicolor Dreamcoat, if you have all of your colors shining off of you throughout your entire system, then getting what you want is more readily available. Instantaneous objectification of what it is that you require or desire. But most people have like those things running around in their system, literally giant dump trucks full of shit. So we just had a party in New Orleans. Let me use this example. We just had a 2-week party, right? Everybody was just wiling out, throwing things everywhere, clogging up drains, drinking beers, eating rich foods, making a mess. Everybody wanted to. It was a good time. No hard feelings. Everybody has a good time. Just a big mess, right? And we got to clean up afterwards. Same thing in your body. So now, do you think anybody right now that really participated hard is getting anything they want right now? No, what they wanted was to go and have that party. So all year last year, they were saving up money and time and energy and getting 2 weeks off from work and getting on a plane and coming down here and going, this is what we want to do. And they blew their load here and they had a good old time. Now these next couple of weeks, they're repairing their internal environment as well as like their bank account and everything else that they just threw all over the place, right? But the people that live here, they worked hard, they got a big bank account right now because everybody that was just throwing their shit everywhere. Now the bartenders are sitting here basking. They're just like, "Whew, that was work," but now they got cash. They got whatever they want, right? So the timeline is a little different. The influx of energy and their systems work differently. They're working all day. They didn't have time to go out and party. Some of these bartenders are in a lot better shape right now today than the people that came down here and partied. Simple philosophy, simple energetic system. Using money to explain the same exact thing as what's going on in your body by just using your brain to say, this is what I emit and what I want and I desire. And then the universe provides for you in such a way. Just by cleaning up your internal environment, these things happen faster. But again, as I've always put out there, when you start to do that, you better hold on to the reins a little closer because you can't just have some wild ass thoughts. You better let's get that back in order. Get those thoughts back in order because didn't you say you wanted that? No. No, I didn't want that. Okay, all right, cool. You know that's what they do. I thought we were all on board here. Is that what you wanted? That's why the meditation is so very much more important. That time alone, the introversion and introspection. Sitting and doing nothing, not doing nothing, but sitting and adjusting and controlling your thoughts so that when you walk out into the universe, into this big space, everything lines up the way that you want it. But most people, what do they say? The woman comes to this yogi master, says, man, nothing's happening in my life the way I want it. And, I'm stressed out, whatever the yogi says, go and meditate for an hour. She goes, I don't have time to meditate for an hour. He goes, okay, then meditate for 2 hours. So everybody is extroverted, but I think very long and hard about what rewards they're getting from that. By being more introverted, you can more correctly assess what it is that you do require. Kia, as always, there are no toxins coming out of the urine. They'll be coming out the back or out of the skin. Daniel Drury, I mean, I think exercise in and of itself is just a great thing to do. Yeah, I think that in itself, living life is the perfect antidote. You ask what is how to overcome fear of death. Live life. There it is. Look at all these people out here that jumping out of airplanes and BMX biking over mountains and X Games and all this crazy stuff. They're living life to combat death. I mean, that's one way to do it, but at a higher stage of understanding, like there is no separation. So there's not anything to combat. There's nothing to do. You just do whatever you want. And Have good thoughts for yourself and everyone around you. Torin, how can you tell if you aren't an archon? I don't know. I don't know how to tell if you are. I don't tell if you aren't. How can you tell if what you want is beneficial? I don't know. I've yet to figure out what is and isn't beneficial. I think you know to a degree. Like, drinking a gallon of gasoline, probably not the best thing. Gallon of fruit juice, probably a good thing. You kind of just, you play inside of that spectrum. Yeah, Ruben, what's going on, man? The sediment you leave at the bottom. Whatever's left in the jug at the bottom. A lot of people say that is the gold, the monoatomic gold. So I would say just do a little more research on that. I've been explored it too much. You could try putting some under your tongue, see what happens. I mean, what's the worst gonna happen? Go back in your system, get rid of it again. Cam, do I think it's awesome and high level to drink urine, lemon, espresso, ghee, and tea all day? I've done that plenty of times. Sometimes it's very beneficial for me. Sometimes, it really, again, it's that environment versus how much impact you want to have on the environment. If it seems to work with your system and it seems to be helping you, then sure, then that's all you can really. That's what you can work with. Some people that might not work with. Somebody that's been on a horrible diet their entire life, that might be awful. They might be going through a lot of pangs, healing pangs, and but for me, those things work well for me. What else would I recommend to throw into that equation? Again, I like to balance out my mind and my pH with substances. Sometimes the substance is just oxygen. Sometimes it's just breathing. Sometimes it's water. But then whenever I'm like, I'm out in public and I'd like to adjust my tolerance for certain things, have a little bit more energy, expression, maybe I'll find espresso. I want to, I'm a little tense or something, cut the edge, have a glass of wine. These substances are at our disposal. This is the purpose of this planet. This is the purpose of living. It's not to not consume anything. You're here for a reason, and it's to enjoy these things. Life is about the highest order of good is joy, right? So find these things that elicit the proper energy in your system. Adding things to that, whatever I would go through for you, I would say find the colors of the juice, the colors of the rainbow. Go through the colors. Maybe one day what you want is more red in your diet. Maybe you want to be more fiery. Maybe you don't have a lot of energy. Maybe you're feeling little blue. Throw some yellow in the mix, right? So you got the lemons, or maybe you're too fiery. Then you want some blueberries, cool you down. Maybe you want a cucumber, cool as a cucumber, right? So these kind of things, and into it a little farther. Like wearing this changes me completely. The clothes you wear are absolute energetic expressions of what's going on inside of you as well. So you can use clothing to adjust. You can use aromatherapy. Like, I don't know what your normal standard deviation of mental anxieties and preferences and things are. I don't know that, so it'd be hard for me to say, hey, drink more coffee, because that, for some people, that might be awful. I don't do well with coffee. I don't like coffee. I like espresso here and there for sure. If I'm drinking espresso, I might have a cigar. I like the balance of that. Makes me contemplative and gives me a little bit of energy in the mind. Yeah, Torin, that's a tough one. Maybe adjust. Find some things that are depressants for you. Maybe things that would calm your mind down. There's certain substances that will do that. So look into different aromatherapy oils that will be beneficial for your like peppermint might be too enlivening for your mind, so you want things that are going to dull your mind. Look into things that will do that, but there's a lot of oils that will have that effect on your brain. Kia, is it bad to cut off a family member because you don't like the energy and you choose to preserve your peace? Like, who are the family you're born with? Why are they born with them? I don't think there's anything wrong or at all whatsoever. Anything that is getting in the way of you being complete and healthy and holistic yourself, you have to. I've eliminated lots of people and things and ideas and from my life. Sometimes it's obviously it's a little bit like, well, that sucks, but I mean, the kind of person I am right now, you have no idea what I would be like, and I have no idea, but I have my guesses of what I would be like if I was near the people that raised me. It wouldn't be a good look. I'll put it that way. There's good people, there's shitty people. It just is such. You can't help everyone, and not everyone can help you. That's the holistic thing. You just have to be whatever you are, and things that get in the way of that, move it out the way. Go over it, around it, move it, what you got to do. It doesn't matter if it's a person or an idea or a physical object. There's things going to help you become yourself and assist you in your whatever your quest is, whatever your path is, and there's things that will ruin it. Family means not a damn thing, and everyone is my family, but there's family members that I'm not really interested in hanging out with. There's people that I'll meet in the streets that I'd more hang out with. There's people on the streets I don't like. It's preference. Always back to that. It's not judgment, it's preference. I don't prefer this right now. Ruben, I would assume you're probably at the point where less alcohol is probably better, because alcohol is not necessarily going to be a thickening agent for the hair. I think beer is a good idea because it has some vitamin and nutrition in it. But from the other alchemical level of using, say, vodka or whatever, that's more cleansative, and it's not going to be, unless you're putting something in it as a delivery system. But that's going to dry things out and thin blood, right? So you'd want to be offering your hair and your system silica and things like this. So maybe you'd find silica in a vodka substrate. Maybe you'd find like a tincture of it, or other things that would be helpful to the hair. But I don't think just straight off the just adding alcohol is going to have any benefit for that specific thing. It's going to be far more drying, and again, people have different constituents to their body. You have your hot, cold, you have the four humors: hot and cold, and wet and dry. And so it depends, but it depends on that. You probably want something wet and cold for the hair. And guys, my phone is almost toast here. I only got like 5% left, so. Lemon juice is not going to harm your digestive system on an empty stomach, Cam. I don't know that espresso would either. Most people, most cultures, they wake up and have a cup of espresso. That's breakfast. Just like a beer is breakfast. A good beer, a good breakfast stout. Why do you think they call it breakfast stout? It's supposed to be a breakfast. It's liquid bread. It's bread without all of the bullshit that you don't need in bread. Yeah, Torrin. I mean, selfless devotion, man. I mean, that's how can you? No one can have selfless devotion. It's silly. You have to have a self. You always have a self. Call it selfish devotion, because I've done many talks on this. And you can look through them. Some probably have the label of selfishness, and if I can you look through them, if you can find them, there's a couple that have the title. It'll be right in the title. It'll be something about this. But the idea is like, how can you help anyone else if you can't help yourself? If your temple's a mess and a wreck, how do you plan to help anyone? If you can't think to the highest level, how could you instruct anyone? If you can't pick up a heavy object, how do you expect to help somebody move a car that's in the way? You know what I mean? And so you should be more infatuated with helping yourself primarily. First off, you have to. But then after that, then the world is like, then it's easy. It's easy to help people. It's easy to assist people. But people will find themselves digging their own grave of unhappiness by always helping other people. I've learned this lesson many times. It happened to me recently. I tried to help some people, and it cost me. It cost me. I went out of my way for some. I always do this, and I've really cut back on it lately. But I was helping some people out, and it ended up, hurting my budget. So you just gotta take care of yourself first, and then it's easy to do. Rich people can loan out money, poor people can't. That's awesome, Cam. Yeah, I mean, that's whenever I'm doing well and I'm consuming the least amount of things and just getting the correct substances in my body, that's pretty similar. Distilled water, juice, urine, tea, espresso here and there. Yeah, that's a pretty lemon juice. Yeah. What up, Johnny K? Yeah, try Torin. Try breathing more, nostril breathing. Breathe in here and out of the mouth. Cycle the energy down into the body. And a good pattern for you would probably be 4 seconds in, hold it for 7 seconds, and breathe out for 8 seconds. That will really calm down and change, different levels of dopamine, serotonin, et cetera, in your brain, as well as oxygenate the brain and pull energy into your body. And if you're overthinking, you want the energy in your body. Other things you can do is just go do exercise, go work out, go run, go jog. And while you're running and jogging, breathe properly. Don't start to. So you're cycling the oxygen the correct way while you're doing your exercise. Yeah. Marijuana is the feminine plant and tobacco is the masculine plant. And again, y'all, my phone's gonna be dead in any minute here. So if this cuts out, sorry. I'm gonna have to charge this and come back on later. But yeah, so this is why you balance out the feminine with the masculine. So you'd roll a spliff, marijuana and tobacco. And tobacco is gonna have to be obviously not sprayed, et cetera, et cetera. And there's other elements in plant life you can add to it to give you different experience and benefits. I use both of those things very, very minimally, and use a lot of other plant life as the hardy version of whatever I might ingest. Mugwort, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, I did a video on it, and in fact, on my Instagram page a while back, I did a whole series on what plant life I used and how to mix it for just daily ritual smoking. Dong Chil. Is destruction inevitable? It's I that's a word I could play semantics with, you know what I mean? You just have to say Shakti and Shiva. You have to pull things apart. I mean, if you want to knock it down the way little kids knock down Legos, you could do that. But and my phone's gonna be dead in like 30 seconds, y'all. So I'm gonna close this up and I'll come back on in a little while. So yeah, thumbs up or whatever. And for anybody in the future, you can always hit the donation button and keep my phone alive so I can do these things longer. But I'm gonna go and charge this. I'll try to be out here in like an hour, y'all. But this was fun. Hope you guys liked it. Yeah. Yeah, 4 ins, 7 hold, 8 out. That's correct. In the nose, out of the mouth, buddy. Yeah, I'll see you guys in a little bit. Cheers, y'all. So let's just skip ahead to about 5 minutes before I start talking. What's up, Mr. River Shaman? I'm not quite too efficient in decoding what appears to be Russian. What up, Eli Jen? How is New Orleans? Things going on. Streetcars moving. People recovering from Mardi Gras. Ash Wednesday, so you got some people with the cross on their forehead, and you got Valentine's Day people going out tonight trying their luck, trying to find a lady, I guess. But it's as awesome as it always is. Greatest place I know of. One of the only places really to live. It's magnificent here. Fujiba 123, energy blockages in the head. Well, if it's just standard energy blockages, you could probably, if you're well hydrated to begin with, do some inversions. Get your feet above your head. Puts more water into your brain. Just the pressure and the density of the water trying to, invert yourself. And that's one way of helping. Obviously, breathing patterns. One of the best ways to. You'd probably want to get into. Look at my videos on the different breathing patterns: beta, alpha, theta, delta, and there's 4 different breathing patterns. And so you'd probably want to be breathing in the nose and out of the nose. So you have mouth breathing, which is delta, mouth nose alpha, nose theta. I'm pretty sure. It's been a long time. I didn't. I don't remember which direction they go, but it's either bat D or D tab. I just forget which cycle it is, because you can breathe starting here and then around, or you can start and go in the opposite way. But energy blockages in the head, handstands, and proper breathing, probably the easiest way to go about it. Or you could do, there's tapping. You could tap on the back of your cranium, where your spine connects with your head, with your skull. Just to the left and the right side of there's 2 spots, kind of where those indentations are. Those are decent spots to move energy around. Just 2 fingers tapping. That's helpful. And depending on where you feel, like if you literally feel a blockage in your head, like there's just a pressure, a density, you could look into a little bit of phrenology, or you could just really get into, just finding where it is in your head and finding a point on your hand or your foot, reflexology points. There's reflexology points that can help open up pathways. There's a lot of people that when they say blockages, they might mean different things. If you just mean energetic or thought blockages, find a looping pattern in your brain of something, or if it's like you feel some sort of pressure. So there's a few ways. What's up, John Shore? Oh, and now that I got a few people on here, I think what I'd like to do for everybody here, because I know this to be a very common theme amongst people, and it's that when you receive information from a certain person, it might not have as much value as if you receive it from someone else. There's a lot of people that I'm close with, but because they know me and my entire personality, whenever I say very profound, engaging, wise things, they can't accept it or chew on it and digest it in the same way that if it came from someone else. So I say this in this way to offer all of you, if you all have like family members or friends or that don't really listen to you, but you think maybe I'll put on a suit and tie, I'll be in my best behavior or whatever. If you think that there's ideas that you want to convey to them, either say, hey, can you listen to something? Will you do a live? I'll do a live video, and maybe I'll do it when it's, again, this is a little difficult to organize because people listen to me from all over the world, but probably a Saturday or a Sunday, I can do a video. I can kind of like be on here for a few hours, and you can say, hey, ask this dude whatever you want to know about health or well-being or magic or whatever it is that, obviously I'm pretty well versed in most anything. And so things that you can't quite say to people, or things that they might be interested in knowing about, or people that just maybe have just health problems, just things that they don't trust you, or they not trust you, but they won't buy what you're saying because where would you hear that on the internet? How do you know? What do you know? I've seen you. I know what you're about. But so how people receive information could be the same information, but it can come from 20 different people, But that one person, for whatever reason, the way that they speak, the way that they are, maybe it resonates with them. So I put this as an offering to anybody out here. If you want me to do a Saturday or Sunday evening, for me it would be evening. So for you guys, I'm just trying to figure out where everybody lives and try to organize something where I could probably do it like a Sunday midday, which would kind of encompass, and maybe it's morning for you, night for you, and if you all wanted me to, obviously, let me know. Hit me on the email, or even beneath here, let me know, or on one of my videos, let me know when would be a good time, or if you think that's a good idea, if you anybody in your life might need some assistance with something. So cool. River Shaman is just fancy letters. I'm still gonna decode it. I'll figure out what it says somehow. You've been seeing orbs in your vision that look like a pair of owl eyes. That's very interesting. Um, I've never had. I've seen orbs and things, but I don't know about owl eyes. Hold on one second, guys. Little back crack. Um, yeah, I don't know. Dimension extensions. That's really awesome. Somebody might know more about that. One of my, if I do have any clairvoyant type things, it's not necessarily vision for me. It's more acoustic, or obviously just general sense or feeling, uh, empathic type things. Or in the dream world, I'm visually acute, but yeah, I've never had any of that here. Like seeing, I see orbs and I see things, see weird things from time to time, but yeah, I can't really go too far on that. What's up, Preston Boyd? What's up, I know Jack? What's good? That's funny. I might have had mites at my house before. If you John Shore, if you look into um, bioacoustic resonance and things like this, like how in certain environments, certain energies will crop up and create what's around there. Like, whose work is it? This is Russian dude. Just look up bioacoustics and man, I wish I could remember his name. Anyways, he does this whole thing on how something's cut down in the forest. It's all an acoustical property that if say owls were removed from the forest, that the other animals would come in and make the sound that the owl was making, so it would balance out the acoustic resonance of the area. So, in the sense of having mites, what might that be? I don't a change in maybe you have a new. Honestly, maybe you have a new product in your house. Maybe there's a new sound in your maybe an alarm clock. I don't know. It could be a lot of different things. Maybe something that needs to be removed. Maybe just something as simple as an odor that's being put off by something that you're eating new. Obviously fruit flies come around if you're eating certain kind of fruits, right? But there might be a specific smell that's coming off that's creating that from an old pair of socks that are. It could be just about anything. So I don't know specifically. But yeah, speaking of that, the cleaning of it, you could probably do some organite, create some organite. Yeah, River Shaman. That's what's up. Organite's fun stuff to play with, man. There's a lot of great. I done a few videos in the past on organite and pyramids, and check those out. You'll probably find some good information in there. Tips on quitting weed. I think anything is easy to exchange habits because really everything is about filling in gaps of habits. It's just trading something in. So trade it in for something else that would be better or more suitable for you. Specifically, I mean, you that becomes a very long conversation about why do you smoke? Do you relieve anxiety? Is it for depression? Is it for a million different things? So that kind of plays into it. So would you replace to get the? Are you filling up time? Are you filling up a space in your and how you coordinate your energies throughout the day? So there's a lot of good, bad, and different. So that's a difficult one, but certainly the easiest thing to do is exchange it for something else. If that was 2 hours that you filled up by being high, what could you do in those 2 hours that you would find entertaining? Obviously, because it's not, you don't just stop doing something unless it's having a bad effect on you, right? It's like gambling. Gambling isn't a problem unless you're losing. So if it's getting in the way of your life, then trade it in for something that isn't. And I think the easiest way really would be urine therapy. I mean, just start drinking your piss. You'll get a much cleaner, high feeling, and you'll relieve yourself of anxiety if anxiety was a problem. It helps with depression, and you won't feel the need to, because you'll be like, "Whoa, this is bright and clean and shiny, and everything's fun." What up, Jake Dyer? Yeah, I figured I should get back on here and get back into the having a little bit of a rhythm to getting on here helping people out, because sometimes I need that introspection myself, and the um, becoming a little introverted and just dealing with my own space and whatever. But now I'm back on here and getting a little bit of rhythm and flow with this stuff. Yeah, John Shore, the alternate nostril breathing is a good idea too. I mean, that's choice too, whether you want to breathe in the nostril and then breathe out the other nostril, or breathe out the mouth. It's going to have just slightly different effects, and it's just to play around with that. And that was for, the blockages in the head. You're going to balance out both sides of the brain. So you'd be here and then here, and that's going to bring the oxygen to the both hemispheres of the brain. Soren, that I don't really want to dig into all that right now, but I mean that's every Kevorkian with it. I mean everybody. I've always said this anyways. Like everyone on this planet is slowly committing suicide. We take habits that will take us to the grave. It's a slow suicide. Everybody ingests things that are taking away from their life and their life force, whether they know it or not. So I don't. That's a more specific. It's like a quick remedy for the solution of, because there's many other ways to fix that if that is the problem. So I think it's just that most people think that everybody else's fate is happy. So just to go a little deeper into this for you, I think that when you watch the TV or you turn on Instagram and you see everybody's like cute photos and this is what my life looks like. You don't know what that person's life looks like. That's why I try to give people as much of my like raw life. Like this is what it looks like. Sometimes I'm not in good spirits and good mood. Sometimes I'm depressed. Sometimes I'm happy. And I think that when people come to realize that everybody that you think that you see little bits and pieces of that look so happy and perfect, that everybody's got their little barriers and hurdles and things that they think about that don't line up with what reality should be. And there's all sorts of these things. Everybody has this. So I mean, there's no one on this planet that hasn't dealt with depression or anxiety. There's no one. So I think getting people to that place, I think it gets them out of the only solution is this. There's multiple solutions for everything, and there's but as far as what you're asking, do I feel the actions are for the benefit of the species? I mean, look, I would say simply look into other creatures, other animals. Do any of them do that? But then again, do they have the systems in place that we do that are kind of foisting, leveraging energy against a grand populace? There's a lot of things that go into that, and I think the thing to combat that is a more understanding of what life is and what all of the obstacles are, and having a general curiosity and not thinking that everything is as evil as it's shown to you on TV. Because I highly doubt things are as bad as people like to complain about and put forth. And so you just got to get into the little crevices and find people that are actually talking some other things to get people out of that mindset. I mean, everybody's had those thoughts. Everybody's wanted to like, I'm getting out this game. This is stupid. I think it's just about changing little bits and pieces in your life to more align to what it is that you really want, whatever that is. And it's not that people don't want life; they don't want the experience that they're having. And there's little steps to get out of experiences that you're having. What up, Samuel Blackburn? I've been splendid. I just went through some. Funny enough that Torrin was just asking about this. I went through a bunch of depression just recently, a bunch of healing mechanisms in depression. I did a bunch of fasting. Fasting brings up and crops up emotional residues and a bunch of other things that it was introversion for me. Like, it wasn't something that, like, I'm not going to put that out there. Like, here, you guys want to watch me deal with depression? Like, that's not, sometimes it's helpful. I've done those videos for people, but for me, it was more of an introspective journey of just isolating myself and being into my own little space. And so that's helpful for a lot of people too. If they understood, you know, how to meditate, how to deal with residual mental paradigms that crop up. That's really what depression is. It's the mind's desire to grasp something from the past. That's depression. And anxiety is the mind trying to get something in the future that isn't here. But in the real world, the past and the future don't exist. And getting people to realize that is that's the main goal of everyone all the time. How do we live? We live in the gift, which is the present moment. And so when we start to include in a little more to language, so some people, they find it enjoyable to listen to other people speak or to read something or to find a curiosity of how the language works. That's one of the things that I've always enjoyed, getting into little nooks and crannies of what language really is, and underneath it, is there more of a code here? Is there more of a journey? Is there more to this? Torrin's Garden, the species does not favor depression for its survival. I fully disagree, Torrin. Without depression is deep rest. If you go and you do a bunch of exercise, if you go and do have a lot of fun, like right now, I did this video last year on called Mardi Gras Magic, I think it was called. And it was about depression. And what people do is, by spending tomorrow's paycheck today, they put themselves in a debt to energy, in depression, which is good and dandy and fine. Cultures do this all the time. They're just spending what they don't have. And that's what depression is. It puts you into a deep rest, which also causes you, if you're very highly intelligent, and not even intelligent at all, but to do what animals would do, animals become depressed and they stop eating and they drink water or dry fast. And so that's their depression. And then that cleans out everything that was causing the depression, because the depression is to push something into something. And so what you've had is an energy pushed into you that you need to get out. And to get it out of you, you take a nap. You can deal with it in the dream world, in which that was my last, I dealt with a bunch of stuff in the shamanic dream realm. Like, that was very intense, which is, residual occurrences of other energies. And that's what depression is. So to say the species does not favor depression for survival is no, that's not true at all. It does. I'm not saying that we should be depressed as a species, but it is a natural occurrence that occurs everywhere. But it's just it's an overextending of energy, which we all have the capacity to do, and we've all done at times. So we all have experienced that. Now, to balance that out and live harmoniously in every single moment, there's, like I say, there's 0.00001% of people doing that. It's the task of all tasks. It's fun trying to get there. But no, depression is part of life, and it's getting out of that and not putting yourself in that by not overextending yourself all the time. But you'll find your times that, like, it was worth. You ever have that great night the next day when you have a hangover? The hangover was worth the nights you had. In 2 days away, like, if yesterday I had a good day and today I'm depressed, 2 days from now, what's going to be more impressed upon my consciousness? The fact that I had a hangover, the fact that I had a glorious, wonderful night, or maybe I helped somebody or whatever. So that's an indentation or depression upon my soul. I know, Jack. That's funny. Yeah, a fake PhD for people to listen. Well, I've listened to enough people with PhDs. You could. I got a video out there. It's called Zen PhDs. Check that shit out. Hmm. I took all the classes. I read all the books. uh, yeah. So and I know, Jack. Um, I think I covered the depression is not normal though. I think it. While it might not be the healthiest of things, it produces health. And saying it's normal, yes, it's normal in the fact that everybody experiences it. Is it the healthiest thing? Probably not, but it serves a purpose. Um, Torin, awesome question. The elements represented as certain fingers, but some of them are different. Yeah, they come from different philosophies and different teachings. Um, but certainly this is, if you look into the charts about energy, where your energy is running, those are going to be the real ones. Find people that do acupuncture. That's those charts are universal. So that's the way it should be looked at. If this finger is lining up with my thymus, and that's what it's for. You know, you can fix a problem with a headache by pushing here. It's obviously linked. It's holographic representation. To make your own, I don't think you'd be able to reprogram your body that quickly because you already have the perfected system within the body that everything already lines up. So I would go and use proper reflexology charts and not go into some sort of, um, especially when there's contradicting wisdom, because the one chart of how the body's meridians works, that's the right one. And I would go from there. Yeah, and as we're still on this a little bit, yeah, bad nutrition and bad habits. Sure, Jack. That's what's up. I mean, that's bad nutrition. But here's the thing: is there's not too many people on this plane of existence that have any idea what nutrition means at all in any way. Getting right to it, we shouldn't be eating. We should be breathing. Maybe we should be children of the sun, the prana, the chi, the electromagnetic universe that we live in. The first thing that we did, we start anything that we stick in our mouth and have to chew, we have to digest. And as soon as we start digesting something, it means to split the joke. Jest in joke, the joke is digestion. I'm doing this. You're splitting it. As soon as you do that, you've created what is coming out the back as shit and what you think is life force, which you already had to begin with, which was supplied to you through the sun and the electromagnetic universe that we were swimming around in. So obviously, as I always take these things to the nth degree to try to explain a very simple concept and make it a little more complex for simple people, to confuse them slightly, to get them engaged and make something that's very complicated very part of microdosing things. I never heard of the thing called telepathium. I think that's awesome. That's a hilarious. I'll look it up. I dig it. Um, Dude, feel free to put that underneath one of my other videos or just email me or whatever, because that sounds cool. I've never heard of telepathium, and obviously DMT is already existing in our person, but it's hard to get out when you get out of your little gland there when it's all beat up and tore up with all the junk we put in it. But I think yeah, it's microdosing is a great way to do anything. I think that's what life should be. You take a little bit of something and see what kind of effect it has onto you until it increases your capacity at whatever it is that you're looking to increase your capacity at. But I've never heard of that, but I dig it. Hmm. um Torrens Garden, I'm at 514 right now. Should we create our own individualized chakra colors or elements? Again, I think there is a universal principle that was underneath that. But if it would help you, then yeah, if it would help you to say like right now, maybe your body feels like you're very green here and very blue in your base, and maybe that by drawing that out and using like color therapy or art therapy as you'd call it. I don't like the word therapy after anything. I think it's just life, and it's trying to find your way through the maze. But if you drew out those colors, then you could find what might balance you out, because everybody, usually goes by this: the reds on the bottom, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, and it's built that way to the violet or the white flame above the head. Now that is correct, but things might be out of balance and out of order in your body, and by just starting where what you think or where you perceive colors to be, I think that'd be a great way to do it. I think most people, if they're being taught from base one, should stick within. But if you're so far out of balance that you see colors in a different way, go there, man. Because there's plenty of people that don't see colors the right way. They see different colors. So maybe for you it is something different. Maybe your body is built differently, and your body is built off your spirit because you came out of a different spiritual vessel than other people did. So I would go with that. So yeah, do that for yourself and see if your fingers, in fact, uh, draw it out, color yourself in, and color the fingers the way that you think it is, and send that to me. I'd love to see it. And then I can help you like figure out like, oh, here's some aromas that might help you, and let's try to, if you want to do that, feel free. That'd be awesome. I'd love to see it. Samuel Blackburn, urine helps a lot. I've covered this a lot of times because people ask about this all the time, but remember, you have 32 teeth and you have 32 vertebrae in your spine. So your spine is connected to your teeth and it's also connected to your organs. So we're getting into using acupuncture as well as getting your spine straightened, getting your back cracked. Oh, I stood up at the beginning. There's a crack in my back, right? Those are each one of those vertebrae connected to the teeth, and they're connected to your organs. So each organ, if you have a clogged organ, you can find a reflexology chart for your teeth and find out that like I'm missing a tooth here. I got a chipped tooth over here, and they're both connected to my liver. And so when I was a child, I had jaundice, and I had really like my blood was all fucked up and whatever. This was years and years ago, and so that back up in my liver and my gallbladder, those are the teeth that were fucked up in my head. After I figured out that's how it worked, I did a bunch of coffee enemas, and man, what came out of my liver and gallbladder like was insane. It was crazy. And since that, my teeth have felt better. Like I used to have pain, but the pain's gone. So like now, what happens after you get rid of the stagnant and the unusable energy, and you have an electrical charge plus the blood, because the blood is what's carrying the nutrition that will grow the tooth. Then you would start highlighting if you find what tooth or what teeth are not are chipped or not functioning correctly. So okay, this is connected to my kidneys. All of a sudden you fix your kidneys, and all of a sudden you have a good supply of blood, and you figure out what's vertebrae in your spine it is. You find a connection there, and now you start feeding the kidneys. Now you're feeding your blood, which are then in turn feeding the nutrition to regrow the tooth, because the body wants to be in perfect order. The only thing we do is get in the way of it being in perfect order by putting things that are not assisting the body in creating itself again. And so more water, cleaner fluid, cleaner river, and then the things that will literally form the tooth, which really is electricity and magnetism and a bit of material. But so once we get into oxygen, water, electromagnetism, we can start to stimulate what's going on to regrow teeth. So hopefully that was helpful. And urine is obviously, urine has stem cells, so yeah, urine's going to be a great thing for that. Yeah, Fujiba. John Shore is a very high level magician. He's a master craftsman of these kind of things. I would definitely get at him for sure. Torrens Garden, how can we tell if someone's information is trustworthy when everybody believes their truth is the truth, and there's tons of versions of truth? So does that mean we create our own truth? That's a very, very deep, complex question that I've covered many times, Torren. I wish I could point you to the videos that I've specifically answered that. I don't want to go down that yarn right now, but essentially some people know their bullshit. I think the way that you tell though is it's a vibration and a knowing. I always bring it back to what does it smell like? Uh, just by smelling something, dogs can smell someone that's sick. There's dogs and there's people that can actually smell different diseases in people. The nose does not lie. The nose knows gnosis. Again, so I think someone's aroma will tell you plenty because their aroma is part of their aura. Their aroma and their aura is very much, pretty much the same thing. The smell that's coming off the body is enveloped in the casing of your auric field, which is your egg or your ego or your shell. So I know, and that's for you to jumble through. There's no way of knowing every time, but I think there's an instantaneous. I know when I walk by certain people, and I'll be like, oh, that person is awake, alive, and aware, and that's a real, that's a seeker, that's a Sikh. You know, the Indians, the Sikh. So there's no real way you can. It's like I made this comment about the 48 Laws of Power, Robert Greene, great book, but it's showing you how to be inauthentic. You know, an artist, you can tell someone's artwork of what's good artwork and what isn't. It's the Zen and the art of motorcycle maintenance. It's knowing what quality is. There's no way of explaining it. There's no way, but you know it when you know it. And the only way you can really find out what the truth is when you've cleansed yourself. And once you have your level of truth, then everything else is reflective off of you. You become the living book, and no book really matters. And the only thing that will vibe with you is people that have the same tenacity for truth and wholeness and all of the things that you find worthy of life. Dimension extensions, that's awesome. Those are all excellent things. Black obsidian, moldavite. Moldavite's heavy duty stuff, man. Oh yeah, Torrin, just to finish that up, the peppermint oil. Peppermint means to pepper the mind. Spearmint means to spear line. Maybe you want to use spearmint, but again, these are things that are usually going to heighten awareness in the mind. And off the top, I think you'd probably want to use something like myrrh. I think you'd probably just want to go right to what this says in the Bible. What do they always put in the temple for meditation in the temple? What are the two things they use? They always talk about myrrh and so like, you know, hippies always wear patchouli, right? Patchouli, myrrh, and what's the other one they always use? I think those three would be really good things to use because they're earth, they're brown. What you're looking for is brown, earthy things to ground you. So you want peppermint is too up here. You want something to grab. See, like, you hear that? That muffled thing, that muffled tone. You want to muffle. You need a better muffler than what he's got. You want to muffle down the brightness of what it is. You want to the mind. You want to take the peppermint and get rid of all of the peppermint. See, it's right there, peppermint. Boom. Brown, you don't really see brown, and just earth. You want earthy stuff. So yeah, look into those. What up, NQ? The Magus of Java. You ever read that? You know who the Magus of Java is? What's up, Tiger Strong? Jack, yeah, man. Well, it's only tasting like waste if you've been eating waste, or you have some other, organs that are really dispelling a lot of things out of your body. But the urine will become cleaner and cleaner, and it'll taste better and better until it's actually to the point where it's more, you'll become so aware and acutely adjusted to the quality of something that urine will taste better than water. Water that you get out of a faucet, you'll be able to smell the chemicals in it. You'll be able to sense the tin garbage, the metals, and all of the stuff. You'll sense that. You'll be able to taste it, and it will taste dry. The water will taste dry and hard. But when you're drinking your urine, it will taste soft and supple and round. And the water you're getting from your house will take on a cubic structure in your mouth. Think of all the pipes it goes through to get to your house. It's going through 90-degree angles everywhere. And it's getting all of these metal objects, which are probably squares, and salts and things that are cubes. And it will taste and it'll be sharp and it won't have a correct flavor. But then your body, which is a tubes that are like this, and it's compressing and creating the highest degree of filtered water on the planet, and it'll start to taste different. The only thing you're recognizing now about the taste and not tasting well is all of the residual occurrence of all of the damage and ignorances that you've done to your own body. But it will soon clear up. Torrin, isn't all energy creative? No. Think about somebody that designs, an architect. It's a feminine creative thing, right? If you're a chef, it's feminine and creative. The line cooks and the people building that structure, they're masculine. You see, there's nothing creative in chop this cucumber into 1/8-inch slices, do that 50 times, and then do that. See, that energy is masculine. It's an orderly, a constructed, rectilinear, here's how we accomplish this task. So no, not everything is creative. Some is exemplifying the masculine priority, which is accomplish said task. Feminine is create the matrix, create the world. Here's the birthing process. It's a big mess and it's everywhere. Man says must penetrate and create. This is how it's, and that's the, so it's why it's all for creation. Yes, at the end of the line, it's for creation, but the masculine concept is not of a creative endeavor. It's an order following. You see, militant things, military, army, organizations. The guy sitting on the top smoking a cigar, thinking of all the great ideas for the corporation. The people in the building are working different aspects of creative potential. Marketing is doing something different than the people that are selling something, that are doing something much different than the people that are working in a Henry Ford Model T. Here's the Model T, and here's how on this line we're going to produce this perfect car exactly the same every time. There's no creativity there. Yeah, the Fujiba, the gamma wave. Yeah, you know that video I did on that connected the fingers with the air, fire, earth, and water, with gamma breathing, with the elements, with the cards in a deck. I did a very long one, and it's a whole chart that you can remember by using your fingers. Beta, alpha, theta, delta. That connects with these. That connects with the elements. Go check that video out. It's maybe like about a year ago I did it. I think it's probably just under breathing. If you can't find it, hit me up and I'll get it for you. Or somebody on here probably knows what the name of it is. You could probably open up another thing right now and see if you can't find it. What up, Rise Now? Yeah. Hey. Yeah, I should. But you know what? I feel good with what I'm doing. So if you all feel like I'm consulting all of you in this way that gives you all of this bounty of information, it's free source material of anything you need, and you feel that I've delivered any type of wisdom or enlightenment or just fun, enjoyment, I don't know, spend $20 to go to a movie. Hey, as far as I'm concerned, this is pretty good. This is good as Thor, man. Maybe not that good, but, and if you feel like throwing something in my donation box, it's always available for you. I trade energy. I work with barter system. I work with donations. It's bartering for me. What is all of what I'm saying worth? So yeah, when people do contact me, it's always whatever you think it's worth, and I'm happy to throw it out there like that. So I'm going to fill up my cup with the nectar. UT through the nose. I've done it a few times. That's great for cleaning up the clogs that are actually in back here behind your sinuses in here. And a lot of people, it's funny. I've been talking to a couple people. I noticed they sneeze. When people sneeze and they'll go and they'll stop. They're literally pushing that into their sinuses, causing a lot of problems in their head, causing problems with their eyesight. You could blow your eyeball out. You can really, and so all of that mucus is getting stored up and collected, and basically the same thing that's happening in your bowels. That needs to be cleaned out with a warm urine neti pot, drinking that up the nose, or doing almost a headstand and getting really clean that stuff out. I mean, it's all connected with your eyes and everything, and you probably will get a little watery eye and might hurt your eyes a little bit, like not hurt them, but you'll know that it was in there. But that a lot of people really need to go the route of putting that up the nose. But yeah, Rise now. If people want to donate, feel free, y'all. It helps me stay lucid and loose like a goose out here. Tiger Strong, how do you stop caring what people think about you? It's a $1 billion question right there. Maybe you should rephrase the question. Maybe start with that. No, start with this. Is that there? Can you read that one? Start with that. You probably can't read it, but it said En Lakesh. Means I'm another you, you're another me, we're all the same thing, right? Then would you care what you thought about yourself? And what is yourself? I mean, I always do it this way. If I'm talking to somebody one-on-one, there's a certain way I can be. But once there's more than 3 people that I'm talking to, then I cannot. I'm incapable, and so is everyone else, of saying what's going to make all 3 of those people like you. You can't do it. Even authenticity. Some people don't like authenticity. Some people don't like truth. If I'm authentic to myself and being exactly what I am, somebody's not going to like me for that. It's an acceptable thing. Like, there's not really many ways around it other than the way you do that is to be more comfortable with yourself. And know that you have to go into every situation knowing, like, man, some of these people are just not going to enjoy what I am. There's no way of dealing with it. You find the greatest actors, find the greatest musicians, find the greatest hockey player, football player, find the whatever, poets. I don't like that. What you gonna do? I found people that don't like I find these authors, or find some Alan Watts, and somebody got something funny to say about Alan Watts. I'm like, wow, that's really how hard people are trying to dislike something, just to be contrary to be contrary. People are often contrary just for the sake of it. Yeah, not going to use your name. That's what's up. Sun gaze, hold your balls. Yeah, there's 3 things down there in your PC muscle, your taint, and your testicles. Or for women, it's a little slightly different, but there's basically 3 muscles down there that you can use. So when you're breathing in, what you want to do is hold that muscle, and when you breathe out, let go of the muscle. Breathe in, hold that muscle in the taint, and then there's 3 different ones, but for most people in the beginning, like, I'm not even very effective at it for myself because I don't practice as much as I should, but it's just clenching that down there as you're breathing in to hold the energy, and then release it out, and that is actually going to release out more energy through all of your cells in your body. It's much more cleansative. Rise now. I hear you. I just went through some of that too. I think anybody that's really empathetic and in that kind of like feeling the what would you say, the because there is no time, but like more of the larger systems and the fake clocks that were made, and how people think there's rhythms and patterns to the universe, which there are to a degree, but I think there's uh, on the tribal level, I think there's more tribe now. Like there's more people now that are officially like putting their feet on the earth. Like, yo, this is our earth, and you know, we're here taking care of the earth. And part of that is like, man, that we just expended a lot of energy doing that. So you become back to the beginning of this conversation, that point of depression. When you put your feet down really hard and you stand for something, there's depression that occurs after that because you've exerted your energy until we get to the point of learning to cycle the energy through completely, which you won't lose energy, but you won't be gaining energy. You'll be a conduit for energy, which uses the earth and every other living system to basically play figure eights with the energy, like Medusa's head. Yeah, I know, Jack, and I don't think that meant necessarily with your hands to hold the balls, although that could be a possibility. That's not what he meant. Yeah, and that's the answer. The Christos oral, like the mind and the pineal, and that's even part of the breathing technique I was saying there, which pressurizes your sacrum and your lower five vertebrae to get the pressure in there. And this goes just as like I'm on this subject now, and I've addressed this many times. If you have dirty oil, it's not a great idea to be pushing it up your spine. So a lot of people that want to have this kundalini awakening and they want their third eye to be cracked open, if you got dirty blood and dirty body and dirty oil, that's not a good idea. In fact, it's a pretty good idea to get rid of the oil in your body, to get rid of like you have fluids in your body. Say you wanted to produce. Let me use this concept. Say you wanted to produce a baby. You're about to impregnate a woman, right? And you've been holding seed for, let's say, a month, but in that month you've had some bad experiences and blah blah blah. You've been eating wrong. Would you want to put that into the egg, or would you want to release that out of your body, release all of your semen out of your body, and then go, the next month I'm going to ingest light, clean water and re-oil my body with clean, pure, ultra high grade, extra virgin almond, olive oil, whatever. Put that into your system and then wonder, is that going to be a cleaner, more proficient way of producing life? Is the outcome going to be better? So this gets in everybody on this no fap, this hold energy. No, a lot of people are holding on to energy that they don't want, they don't need, and they're wondering, why am I having a wet dream? Why am I having an orgasm in a dream? Because life is an orgasm. You're not. The people get too wild out on this no fap thing. They're not understanding the complexity of it, because that's stored up energy of the homunculus, which is the life force, which is the miniature you inside of you, male or female. And you better get everything out of you and then put the good stuff in. Don't just start putting good stuff in. Everybody's like, oh, I'm gonna be healthy. I'm gonna go vegan and start putting all this stuff in their body. Unless you got rid of what was already in it, you're not helping it. You're not. You need to clean first. Yeah. Hopefully that makes sense. What up, Euros? Marinsek? Yeah, herbs are a great idea. Yeah, add herbs to whatever, man. I think the conduit, whether it be honey, vinegar, wine, or vodka, even, because think about how tinctures are made. All of those things are great additions of collecting the spirit of the plant life and putting it into your body. Yeah, great idea. Yeah, Brand Zen was talking about getting the balls out and getting sun on it. You know who else talked about that? Master Earth talks about that. I used to have this. I used to live over at this house that in the morning it was just this perfect little area where the sun would be coming around, and at about 7 o'clock it would come perfectly in the window when no one could see, but I could just lay there on the couch with my nuts out. Perfect. Warm the cockles. Warm it up there, you know. And it was very helpful. You like literally giving a place that's never seen the light of day sunshine. Think about Baal. What Baal like? Oh, what is this? Sun? Everybody covers Baal up with blue jeans. You see blue jeans, the blue bloods, the genes of the jinn, which are called Levi genes or Lee genes with the L's. You cover up Baal with blue jeans. Get rid of the blue jeans, let Baal out in the light, and all of a sudden Baal is a lot happier. Yeah, everyone has a spirit. You earn your soul. I think that's about. I wouldn't say necessarily earn. I like to play semantics a little bit. I don't think you earn it. I think you develop it. You step into it because it's a collective. The soul is a collective. It's a one single thing that is a collective of all the spirits. So yeah, I dig what you're saying there, man. You're welcome, Jack. uh, Laraza and Raw Vegan Hippie Granny, what's up? Nutrition is etheric. This is correct. Yes, nutrition is nut or nux or lux. It means nuts and light. It means the nuts are the seeds and the light from the sun. And so the real nutrition is yes, it's the as Electric Tau would put it, the electrical universe. We're all in a sea of plasma and electricity, a magnet, electric, plasmic field of energy that we exist in. And the only thing that gets in the way with it via like Hilton Otima's work is all the crap we're putting in our body. And getting away from that, we can't just stop doing it because your spirit and body wouldn't be able to handle it together. So that's why, backing off of dense, heavy foods, becoming a liquiditarian, then becoming a breatharian is the route. It's normally said it takes 7 years from the point if you were eating a heavy meat diet to getting to the point of taking a day off of meat, then getting to the point of no meat, and then a day off of liquid, and then 2 days off of liquid, getting to the point of completely living on breath and prana. But we have to once again look into where are we living? Are we living in a city? And is this electrosmog and everything else going to affect the way that I'm collecting electricity? So that's one of the big things. That's why it would be very, very difficult to be 100% real time in a city, breatharian. You would need cleaner air, and by cleaner air, what that really comes down to is less positive ions in the air. You need more negative ionic force, which is like being near a waterfall, which is collecting basically negative ions, go up, collect the positive ions, and drop them to the earth because the positive ions are the heavy, dense dirt, basically. And you want negative ions, which are anti. But I don't like anti. They're pro levitation. I don't like. It's not anti gravity because gravity doesn't exist. It's anti mass. How's that? Pro levitation, anti mass. Yeah, I feel the drain after a meal too, for sure. It's not the meal doesn't serve you. You don't get the energy from the meal till a day later, and it's a very small quantity of energy. The amount of energy you're getting from a giant meal is people getting the calories and vitamins, and it's all nonsense. It's all absolutely nonsense. And because you're eating this giant thing, and then you're getting that much energy out of it. It's like searching for gold. Yeah, Lexitao. The electromagnetic. I mean, that's where I start off. That's where I started a long time ago on my journey with the electromagnetic spectrum and doing a lot of research and study and talk into that. But yeah, that's the real deal. That's the man, the woman. That's the universe. Tiger Strong, I like the question. Do I think the dream world is the real world? No, I think it's all the real world. Um, how do you define realness? Everything's a reverberation. Everything's an echo of the mind of God. I mean, in a sense, yeah, your highest self sitting there experiencing and projecting reality at the same time. It's very difficult to do. It's why you can't you don't. This is why you don't sit in the throne of being God all the time. You do it for a little bit, but it becomes too many things going on at once. You're producing a reality while experiencing it. It's crazy. So you come down here and you experience it. This is just as real as what you're creating at the higher levels in the dream realms. But yeah, it's it, I guess it's the I'll give you this. It's the place that all of this is produced from. This is the echo in the you call it the dead world, but it's not dead. We're living here. This is the shadow realm. Shadows still need a sun to produce a shadow, right? But we're living in that. But it doesn't make the place that produced the echo or the vibe or the wave where we are now. It doesn't make this any less real than what that is, and that more real than this. You're just talking about the location or source point of creation. See, you think my hands doing this was my hands doing that? No, the point of creation was my mind right in there doing that. And before that, it was my mind up there. And then it was the soul, right? But your experience is played out here. So this is as real as it gets. It gets more real. It gets more intense, more awesome, more full of light. Yeah, distilled water in urine will definitely decalcify the pineal gland. Do a lot. Yeah, that's the way to go. Distilled water and urine therapy is, and I don't even like to use the word therapy and urine. Yeah. And also, I would say to you, raw vegan hippie granny, you probably already on it, but aromatherapy, you would probably want something in the realm of, ooh, somebody's burning some oil over there. Uh, you probably want some spearmint, as I was talking about earlier. You want spearmint. They'll put a spear right in the middle of your brain. Put a little dot right there of spearmint. Breathe it in. That'd probably do wonders for you. Tiger Strong, this is exactly correct. People eat because of parasites or a pair of sites, meaning there's your site and there's the other things in you that are asking to be fed. You got a bunch of little children, snakes they may be, still your children, and a bunch of different things going on in your body that are your children, and they ask to be fed. And we go, okay, we'll feed you. Little dogs, right? Feed the dog. You know what I do with my dog? I fast her. She fasts. So she's healthy. She's, you know, I'll feed her plenty. We'll have fun. Oh, here we go. You want to eat? You want to get fat? You want to be crazy? Fine. We'll have some fun. But then she'll fast. It resets her. In the same way you reset yourself. You reset yourself by feeding habits. Those habits are those little hobbits that you can choose. You know, habits and hobbits are not bad. Just which ones are you feeding? They're fun to play with. Yeah, I dig it. It's not their fault. We couldn't decode the message. Yeah, decoding the message is, it's like this. We've become so simple. Here's how and why that happened and where we are. Um, uh, Not going to said they tell us our whole lives we are the light beings. It's not their fault. You couldn't decode the message. Well, see, they're speaking from the original language, which is basically um, the language of sound and light, the language of what someone that is maybe autistic is more prone to understanding the sound of music. Musicians get it. It's we've chopped up reality to the point of trying to say that these letters and words that I'm making right now is somehow producing reality, and then had the audacity to cut down a tree and write it down and say that's reality. It's in the book, it's in the Bible, it's in the Holy Quran, it's in the thing, but it's a dead book. And we started using these words, saying those words are true. The words are not true. Words can never be true. But we're trying to decipher it by people giving information through sticks on a dead page. It's dictating something that doesn't have any dictionary. Should be definitionary, but it's called a dictionary, dictating some prescribed value of how life works. But in reality, what really matters? Warmth when you're cold, lights when you can't see, water when you're thirsty. Those aren't names. Those are nothing. That's nothing. And so it's the humbling task of all of the sages across all of time and space is to somehow convey to everyone here through language and the mouth, from mouth to ear, the unexplainable, explicitly just to mimes can't even do it. Mimes are like, it's speaking to a dog, speaking to an animal, and listening to the animal and seeing what their behavior, here's what it looks like. Sign language. We don't know sign language. Even sign language as humans do it, that's not the real sign language. The real sign language has always been in nature. But we come back here as urbanistic shaman types and try to relay information to get you to crack open your head a little bit, to see a little bit more of what the lights mean and what the sounds mean and what the vibrations actually are. Because doesn't everybody want to feel good? So hopefully whenever I talk, some way, shape, or form, my words help to unlock for people so they can feel good, or maybe just my sound of my voice makes people feel good. Either way, that's cool for me. Makes me feel good. I guess I'm well far behind here. Oh yeah, I'm way far behind. I'm at 5:30, y'all. I'm sorry. I've been going on tangents here, so I hope y'all are staying in tune here. I'm back at 5:36 with Torrens Garden, so I'm gonna try to catch up here. So don't comment anymore. Let me catch up with you guys. Yeah, I dig you there. A rise in vibration correlates to higher EMF, which correlates to having realm outside the visible light spectrum. To a degree, I agree with that. Yeah. I really like this. The purple over here, the green and red over here.
No, definitely not. It's just a weird
Torrens Garden. Let me. The chakra colors are as they are. If you were to build a fire, the temperature of the fire would emit certain degrees of flame, and so where those sit in the flame are correlated to where they are in your chakras. That it's like that, and I'm pretty sure they're inverted. The hottest flame is white flame. I'm and I did a video a long time ago on the salts in using salt inside of the body or salt on flames. You can look it up. It's a real simple internet search. By using different salts, you can make fire burn differently. So it's burning at a different temperature and using different. I mean, I'm not getting into the electromagnetic theory of it, but you're creating a different temperature, a different. Just checking on somebody. I think dude almost fell over. Sure, Samuel Blackburn. Dimension extensions. I have a bright purple constantly morphing orb in my visions, like I'm being the sun with me. Are you sun gazing too much? Dimension extensions. Remember, if you're sun gazing, the purpose of sun gazing is dual purpose. One is to enlighten you and to bring information to the body. Another one is cleansative. If you are eating like shit and sun gazing, all you're doing is burning off the garbage that's in you. So you're basically just continually burning off garbage. But if you're going in the other direction and eating and doing healthy things, then that is probably a good thing for you. And you yeah, so producing the sun within your mind, being purple. Interesting that you say that. Dimension extensions, that's awesome.
I see whoever you're
Yeah, raw vegan hippie granny. If you the last video I made, we got into talking about intuition never lies. Now the only we were talking about gut instincts and not being able to trust the gut because we have so much garbage in it because our guts are full of shit. So you're correct in saying intuition doesn't lie as long as we're somewhat cleanly and healthy and our gut isn't full of shit. Once it's full of shit, then we have no way of verifying our intuitions, you know? Because there's been plenty of times after a bad meal or something, I'll have a feeling about something that I was totally wrong about. But I know whenever I'm on a high vibe and cleanly and my organs are firing and all of this, then certainly I don't have much to worry about because I avoid things won't come near me that wouldn't do me good. You know, it's out of my spectrum of reality because you're vibing higher, so it wouldn't come in your realm. And so then when they say is the ladder is in two ways, up and down the ladder, sometimes I'll go into realms that are lower than my standard deviation of realm so I can help someone that's in a lower realm. Like I've always hung out in places that like, why are you in places like this? Well, because these are the people that need help. Why would I go hang out with people in a yoga class? They don't seem to need help. They're on their path. What do I got to go to yoga with these people? No, I'm going to go to the places where people are like cutting themselves and smashing themselves in the face every day because they're the ones that are dealing with more pressure. So I go into that situation, right? That's what I mean. That is the shamanistic thing to do. That's what's the human thing to do, really, because everyone would always do that if they knew how to balance themselves out. But that goes back into balancing out your own equilibrium and knowing what your highest self is. There you go. I know, Jack. The laws are not written in scripture; they're written in you. Yeah, there's one law. There's only one. It's already inside of you. When I go outside, does the air smell weird? It's always where I am. It just depends. I like the smell of air. Like I'm near the river, so I can go to the river and get the smell of river and that cleanliness that's happening from moving water. And I can go deeper into the city and I can go the outskirts, and there's a lot of trees where I live. So this is why I've always said New Orleans is the most wonderful place to live, because within a few miles of each other, you could be around an 800-year-old oak tree or next to the Mississippi River or into the insanity of people coming from all over the world into the French Quarter. So there's all of different smells and things that are that come into your consciousness and awareness. So does it smell weird? No, everything smells fun to me. Not going to keep storing, collecting the light, never masturbate or bust unless you want a child. I disagree with that fully. I've covered that countless times, and I think I covered that earlier in this talk here, that some people need to get rid of toxic. Your oil can be toxic. Have you ever seen some? Here, let me prove this to you in one very quick, swift swing of the sword. If you want to produce a child, do you know how many retarded children have come out of the womb? Do you know how many children missing limbs, or their eyeball wasn't working, or they're disformed or disfigured? That is because they were inseminated with oil that was tainted. So the only way to have clean. If you have a car and you have dirty oil in the car, you don't put more oil in on the dirty oil. You get rid of the dirty oil, and then you put clean oil in. See, there's plenty of reasons to get rid of fluid. There's plenty. Think about, like, why do you think we shit? That's fluid. Why do you think we sweat? That's fluid. It's getting the things out we don't need. And you can actually have stored up within your system what is a cancerous semen, which is going to create an artifact of you as a child that is the worst version possible. Maybe not the worst version, but it's not going to be, you know what I'm saying? So there's plenty of reasons to do that. So I used to be on this Montauk Chia, don't spill the thing, and I don't find that to be true anymore. I think there's plenty of wisdoms in keeping it if you're already cleansed, and to use that microcosmic orbit, and to also abstain from that for the point of keeping the pleasure within you. There's plenty of reason, but there's also plenty of reason not to. So I cannot take a stance that is so religious to say don't spill your seed, because I think that's incredibly wrong. And I can say that because, like, even at times that I've been like stressed out and pressure and I've just thrown off a nut, balance me right out, calm me right down. Plenty of reasons to do it. I'm not saying go masturbate 80 times a day. That's ridiculous too, right? So there's a balance to these things. Yeah, the guilt and shame dimension extensions. That's your issue. You need to deal with. That guilt and shame that you're talking about is instilled into people through the church and through religious ceremonial shit, where they cut your dick when you were born. They pulled off your foreskin, which was supposed to be, not allowing all of the sensations to be coming into the part of your penis, and they just lied on that shit, right? Cutting up your sensual organ. Yeah, cut that thing up. Makes a lot of sense, right? There's a lot of that's put into religion, that sex is bad. Sex is not bad. It's absolutely ridiculous notion. And my phone is almost dead, y'all. So I'm gonna have to charge this again. But this has been a fun conversation. I wish I could continue this. I got maybe like 5 more minutes. I'm gonna try to catch up to the end, and I gotta go back in, charge this, and I can come back on in like an hour. I knew I should have brought my other computer today. Yeah, frankincense and myrrh is what you're looking for. What up, Simon Patterson? Good to see you, man. Resonance Creative, what's going on? Looper teens, I like that. And dimension extensions, just to get in there on the clothes or perfume. If they're the kind of person to wash their clothes in stinky ass shit or put perfume on, well, there's a residual outpouring of their own mental whatevers. I got to put cologne on? Well, you're not the kind of person I want to fuck with. Now, if you put some oils on and you smell good, that's a different thing. It's well different to put oils on that smell good than put perfume on. So, again, the noses. Oh, yeah, that Moldavite might be doing it, dimension extensions. Tiger Strong, how do you start urine therapy? Didn't your brother already tell you this? Didn't Lion Strong already tell you? Just start looping it, man. Just start drinking it. Simon Patterson, have I checked out Demetrius from Reality Files on YouTube? Are you asking me that? I know the kid. He came down here and stayed with me for a month. Frankincense is what I was looking for. Yeah, lavender and tobacco is pretty awesome stuff. Yeah, so again, y'all, I'm gonna have to cut this in a second here because my phone's almost dead. I knew I knew that I should have brought my other computer, so I kept kicking it with y'all for a minute here. There you go, Torrance Garden, the earthy stuff. You know, again, the simplicity of it again is depending on what, if you take that box, an air, fire, earth, and water, and you find where you're sitting in there, how to balance yourself out. If you're feeling like your ideas are all over the place, you might want to ground yourself out. If you feel stuck, you might want to have something more watery or maybe even fire. You might want to look at a fire, be somewhere there's a fire. Because, you know, maybe I'll draw this out and show you guys, and I'll just draw you the circle in a box and show you guys what the simple explanation of how to use the four humors. The four humors are equivalent to the air, fire, earth, water is hot, wet, cold, and dry. It's these four fingers, it's the four seasons, all this stuff. So hope you guys are enjoying this one. I've had a lot of fun these last two talks. And Torin, the simple answer to that is its introversion and extroversion. Female feminine magnetism is introspection, introversion. Masculine is ejaculation, electricity, and pushing out. Those are the two divergent. They're not divergent paths. They're the two cones that are meeting in the middle. And so again, the feminine is receptive, and the masculine is projectile. That's just how the attributes work. Rise now. Where would you, if you tell me where you like to be employed and what you like and how much money you make, I can just put that into the universe for you. But I can see you gainfully employed, making lots and lots of currency. Torrens Guard, I'm not familiar with universal frequencies. Hit me up, Torrens Guard, hit me up on one of my other videos and remind me of his name, because again, these things don't show up for me tomorrow. I'm not going to remember all this. So just put it in one of my other videos. I'll check them out. Torrens Garden, how are you trying to get me to be homeless? Are shadow people the same as archons? No, they're not. Shadow people are a little different. Yeah, urine in the nose is good for hydrating the brain as well. And so I got 2% left here, y'all. This is about to kick off in a second, so I'm gonna close this down. I'll try to be back on here in an hour if y'all still want to hang out, because this has been fun and I've been enjoying this, and apparently y'all have too. As always, feel free to give me a thumbs up, or if you didn't like it, give me a thumbs down. And furthermore, feel free to hit the donation buttons and supply me some currency so I can keep my phone on, and I can get myself a battery that I can bring with me and plug this thing in, so I don't gotta charge it inside. And Torin, hit me up later with these same questions, because I'm digging it. I wish I could answer these more fully for you about the archons. And Lakesh, y'all, I'm just reading through the rest of these comments here before this kicks out on me. I got like 3% left. Hey, Lisa C, feel free to come back and ask that later. I wanna answer that for you, but it's about my thing's about to be dead soon. And sipping on nectar, yes, I do believe that. And Lakesh is what you're looking for. Torrens Garden. And not going to a better world. A better world starts with a penis. Yes, penis is an anagram for spine. It means to make your spine correct. Yeah, not going to. That's funny you say that. I've done that to a degree, and a couple times it turned out really good, and a couple times it turned out stalker types. But I do agree with you, man. That's excellent.
Have to talk to that guy.
And Samuel Blackburn, come back and hit me again later. I'll answer that comment on cocaine for you. Haha. Yeah, I'm digging you not going to. And Patrick, please feel free. And no, not please. Just come back in like an hour. I'll answer that for you. Apparently.
Ooh, listen to the melody in every single word I speak. It can warm your heart, makes me be a part of you. Ooh, listen to the melody in every single word